Well, good evening. Welcome to the broadcast in Parliament, particularly before the 11-member committee that is investigating the conduct of Cabinet Secretary for Agriculture, Linturi. A few emotions were on display at the floor of the House. We'll be taking a look at that, as well as school reopening and the rush, the jitters, and, as they say, the ish-ish. Will they reopen? Will they not? Well, the government says there's still plans. However, some parts of the country could witness a delay in the reopening of schools. So we've got that and much more making headlines tonight. But here are the day's top stories. Mourning 61 Mai Mahiu victims. Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua leads leaders to mourn with families. Tears in Parliament. Embattled Cabinet Secretary Linturi's past haunts him at his grilling. Government proceeds with preparations as schools seek to reopen on 13th of May, this coming Monday. Well, welcome to the broadcast. My name is Cynthia Nanjala. You can watch us live across our social media platforms on EBN TV. EBN Prime Edition kicks off right now. Agriculture Cabinet Secretary Linturi was on Thursday overcome by emotions while testifying before a parliamentary committee hearing his impeachment case. Nearly breaking down in tears, Linturi insisted before the committee that the push to remove him from office through impeachment was a personal vendetta emanating from the bitter fallout with his ex-wife Marian Kitani, who is currently the Member of Parliament for Aldai constituency. Now, Linturi maintained that the court cases referenced in the impeachment motion to support the grounds for his removal from office were choreographed.
So, members of the committee, when I look at this thing and the story, even after appearing before this committee and explaining myself, volunteering information, and you remember yesterday, the mover of the motion who is here, and the audacity to tell me, ukiachwa achika. You know what that means, niachwe niachike, but that should show you, Chair, and members of this committee, that this matter has not been that easy. I am not following up on anything, but the question I'm asking myself, or any other man here, or any other good Lind here, because today people have relationships. They may not work. To what extent can you completely push them? If the courts have determined these matters that are being canvassed here, or in support of this motion, the rulings and judgments are in my favor. And considering the nature of these cases, the evidence, some of them getting this type of evidence, must tell you, you really need to be close to someone who knows about these cases, so that it becomes easy for you to look for any relevant material that can support you. So what I am saying, Chair, is that it is unfortunate, but because these issues have been raised here, I have to really mention them. It will not be my wish, because maybe probably my children are watching the father there.
Now, Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua says the government has set aside 300 million shillings to help victims of the Mai Mahiu floods get new homes. Gachagua, who spoke on Wednesday while attending the funeral service next to the scene of the tragedy that left 61 people dead, said that the government has already established a land to resettle the displaced families. The Department of Housing has been tasked to be ready to start construction of new homes for the 185 families displaced by the floods. The DP went on to say that more than 7 million shillings had also been allocated to cater for the victims' burials, adding that each family will get between 150,000 shillings to 200,000.
Sitting down between the national government and the county government to do vile tutasaidia these families to rebuild their lives and start all over again. It is a difficult situation, and as a government, as an administration, we must support them because it's the right thing to do. I want to assure you that we are going to walk with you in this journey. Rais alitoa ahadi ya kwamba shamba itapatikana to settle those families. Na tumeongea na huyu PS wetu wa housing, tumekubaliana Department of Housing itatoa 300 million ya kuanza kujenga manyumba kwa hiyo shamba. So on top of that, ile ya Safaricom mulete hata kama ni milioni 200 hata 300 whatever. Nilikuwa nafikiria utataja figure lakini piga simu ulize ni ngapi. So ulete wale binafsi tunataka kutoa Soipan milioni 2, 3, 4. We must make sure that we settle these families because hiyo ni kazi ya Mungu and it's the right thing to do. Na mimi nampongeza rais for the quick action and the decision that we must help these families to settle down.
Now, to other leaders, as the memorial service for the 61 flood victims were held on Thursday, the Deputy President, Rigathi Gachagua, led leaders from Nakuru counties, Mount Kenya, and other political leaders to join the locals for prayers before the families of the victims are allowed to take bodies of their loved ones for funeral activities. Speaking during the ceremony, some of the leaders urged those who are living within the dangerous areas to move to safer environment to prevent further disaster. Nakuru County leaders promised to continue to stand with the victims and continue to help them. The national government was also complied for the efforts it is doing to ensure that the victims are helped and to prevent more disasters from occurring.
Wacha niseme mimi ni
Right, so apologies about that, but we'll be listening in to some of the leaders, including the Cabinet Secretary for Forestry, Soipan Tuya, who attended that, as well as the Nakuru County Governor, Susan Kihika, where 61 people died due to the flood disaster that occurred in my Mahiu area. So we'll be getting back to that story in just a bit. However, let's get a bit political, where the ruling party of UDA has accused the Orange Democratic Movement, ODM party, of being massively involved in the chaos which has been occurring in the Nyanza region, including Migori, Kisii, and several areas of the western region of Kenya. Recently, followers of several political leaders from those particular areas have been seen attacking each other in public and even caused conflict, especially at funeral ceremonies. Addressing the press, the Secretary General of the UDA party, Cleophas Malala, accused the leadership of ODM party, which is the popular party in those areas, as they denied the accusations leveled against them by ODM party.
Its usefulness in the country and especially in the larger Nyanza region, where the party has become virulent tyranny, only ardent at suppressing the will and wishes of the people of the region. The fight, or rather the fights among local ODM politicians witnessed lately in funerals in Migori and Kisii County and elsewhere in the Nyanza region is a creation of ODM's intolerance to any form of political competition, including internal contests within ODM itself. This has led to many of its members to opt to other friendly parties, with UDA party the biggest beneficiary of these rifts. Rather than address the internal tiffs resulting to mass exodus from their party, the typical ODM party has now turned around and wants to blame others. We are used to ODM as a party that never reflects on its piling electoral losses, but is forever quick to scapegoat its failures to manufactured enemies. We have noted ODM's penchant for attacking civil servants, particularly from the Nyanza region communities, that is the Luos, Kisis, and Kurias. The higher the position of the civil servant, the more virulent the attacks. This must come to an immediate stop. On accusations that the government is using state power to destabilize ODM-run counties, nothing can be further from the truth. In reality, ODM counties are being mismanaged by corrupt, incompetent, and inept governors.
Now, the memorial service for 61 flood victims of the Mai Mahiu tragedy was held on Thursday, and Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua and leaders from Nakuru County, that is Mount Kenya, as well as other political leaders, joined locals for prayers before families of the victims were allowed to take the bodies of their loved ones for funeral activities. Speaking during the ceremony, some of the leaders urged those who are still living in dangerous areas to move to safer grounds to avert further disaster. And Nakuru County leaders promised to continue to stand with the victims and continue to help them. The national government was also complimented for the effort it is doing to ensure that the victims are helped to prevent more disasters from occurring.
Wacha niseme mimi ni jirani wa watu wa Mai Mahiu, kando na kuwa waziri, kwa sababu hii ndio njia ya kwenda nyumbani, na tunasikia uchungu wenu na kuwapongeza viongozi wenu. Mheshimiwa Susan Kihika, Governor, na Mheshimiwa Jane, hawa ni wamama unawapigia saa 8 ya usiku, wanasikia. Lord, take you to that rock that is higher than you. And basically that means, sehemu ambayo sisi hatuwezi fika, Mungu ataweza kuwafikia.
Wizara, tuko na support ambao tutapatia hizi familia. Mimi ni mmoja wao, niliambiwa store imejaa, lakini zile vifaa ambao ningelete bado ziko. Nimeshamwambia Mheshimiwa Jane kwamba ninaweza kuwapatia hizi familia chakula na zile vifaa wanaweza kutumia kwa familia zao. Sisi wote kwa ile heshima ya hizi familia ambao tumewapoteza, nataka kusema kwamba tupande miti.
Katika ili jukumu ambao ni la muhimu zaidi, to condole with the people of Mai Mahiu, the families who lost their loved ones, and more so the young children who lost their lives. Your Excellency, it's extremely painful to lose young babies. Climate change is a reality. We have to ensure all the programs, all the projects are climate proofed, whether it is our building, whether it is our road infrastructure, in urban planning, in rural road construction, in highways, in water infrastructure, power connection infrastructure. They have to ensure the issues to do with climate proofing of all this infrastructure is well mainstreamed in our project implementation, project designing.
I want to thank the national government as the senator of Nakuru County. Niseme najua president alikuja, His Excellency the Deputy President amekuja, na umepe hope hawa watu wa Mai Mahiu wale wameathiriwa. Nakuru County government imefanya kazi yake.
Now, Education Cabinet Secretary Professor Ezekiel Machogu now says that some schools in Tana River, Homa Bay and Kisumu counties may not reopen on Monday as directed. According to the Cabinet Secretary, these areas continue to experience flood-related challenges and will require a lot more repairs before learning resumes. He said they are still receiving names of the affected schools and will give a comprehensive list when they have it. Now, Machogu spoke as he inspected schools in Nairobi to check the preparedness ahead of the resumption of learning, and the remarks come a day after President William Ruto announced that schools will reopen on Monday, May 13th.
We have agreed on one thing to be done in this particular school, and that is the sewerage line, which you have seen is open. It's a little bit dangerous, apart from the very bad stench that is coming from there. It's also dangerous for the young pupils and the students, because they can easily fall in, which is a safety issue really, which we have to sort out. And we have agreed with the member of county assembly. Is here, he will be able to confirm that the county government will be able to do something most likely before Monday, to have it covered, so that when the students come here on Monday, they will find that the place is safe, the place is good for proper running, to be able to move on. I also want to take the opportunity to thank the Member of Parliament in a very special way, because you can see the very good building on the other side. It has been constructed using the national government CDF funds. I'm informed so far that the amount of money expended is about 35 million. And Nairobi, we have one major challenge, that there are so many students, so many pupils, but the capacity we have in public schools is not able to accommodate and to cater for all of them. And hence, you find that we have so many private schools, some of them which don't meet the required standard of a primary school or a secondary school. Fira iko sasa si mbaya, na hata wale wataalamu wametueleza ya kwamba kutoka sasa kwenda mbele mvua itafunguka. Kwa hivyo hali itakuwa mbaya sana vile imekuwa hapo mbeleni. Ndio tumesema ya kwamba katika mashule yetu 98% yako sawa.
Now, Interior Principal Secretary Raymond Omolo has said the government is monitoring the situation as schools prepare to reopen on Monday, May 13th, 2024. The PS has assured that the government has put necessary mechanisms in place to ensure safety of learners and staff. He spoke in Bungoma County and said the rains are still expected to continue in the country.
We are monitoring the situation between now and when the students get back to class on Monday. And the Ministry of Education is already, through the regional and the county directors of education, working closely with the national government administration officers, coordinating that effort towards normal resumption of learning in schools. So you'll be seeing movement of students, particularly for those in boarding schools, happening between tomorrow and Monday. So that then, because one of the biggest challenges is with regards to movement. Number of roads are cut off, and we wouldn't like that everybody gets to the roads on Monday. So the assurance is that we have put in place the necessary mechanisms, and we still expect that the rains will continue until the end of the month, but with much less intensity. And it's a situation that we are continuing to monitor from time to time. The President also did make an announcement that there is going to be rehabilitation of schools, particularly those that have been affected with the floods. The most affected county, of course, is Nairobi, where there was a lot of displacement of families. But then there are a total of another 21 counties where the impact of the floods was also very, very massive. In terms of the number of schools that are affected, we are talking of 1,957 schools, just slightly below 2,000 schools.
Now, the Africa Fertilizer and Soil Health Summit is set to offer a comprehensive review of the state of soil health on the continent and the use of fertilizers. The summit, an initiative of the African Union, was held in Nairobi from 7th to 9th May 2024 under the theme, Listen to the Land. It seeks to review the progress made since previous commitments by African leaders to boost fertilizer and use of agriculture growth in Africa. Over 40 countries are below the target of 50 kilogram nutrients per hectare set at the first summit held in Abuja in 2006, with most averaging at 18 kilograms per hectare.
In the face of prevailing challenges, our commitment to achieving Sustainable Development Goal number 2, that of ending hunger, ensuring food security, improving nutrition, and promoting sustainable agriculture must be unwavering. This commitment resonates boldly in our Agenda 2063, where we pursue an agricultural revolution through modern, sustainable agricultural practices. Our focus should not only be on increasing fertilizer usage, but also ensuring its judicious application to revitalize responsive soils and rehabilitate degraded ones. Despite our current situation falling short of our ambition outlined in the Abuja Declaration, SDG 2 and Agenda 2063, there are reasons for optimism. It is encouraging to see several African nations making strides in fertilizer production, particularly phosphate fertilizers. However, the absence of nitrogen fertilizer production plants due to high capital requirements underscores the need for regional investment collaboration to enhance our self-sufficiency in fertilizer manufacturing.
Now, the National Assembly Committee on Trade has embarked on public participation on new cooperatives bill, which is set to streamline cooperative movement and enhance governance in the country. Now, the Assembly Committee kicked off public participation on that particular bill, and
we'll also address the issues of governance, so that governance of the cooperatives is streamlined. The loopholes that were there that enables the committee or the board members to embezzle funds for members have been sealed in this bill. They have been minimized. So we expect that upon the passage of this bill into act, governance issues will be a thing of the past. The mismanagement, the embezzlement of funds, and we know many cooperative societies across the country who have been masquerading as a genuine cooperative society, but some have been pyramids that have been swindling people. So this bill seeks to have those loopholes sealed and the Kenyans to benefit from the cooperative movement, where a majority of them are members, and for everyone to eat and benefit from his or her sweat. We've received very many issues and important issues. Some are supportive of the bill and some are in respect to amendment of the bill. We have taken all the views, and one of the issues was about membership of different cooperative societies with the similar objectives. And we've also received views in respect of gender representation in cooperatives. We've also received views on academic qualification of the members of the leaders.
As schools and colleges open after the April holidays, the government has been urged to put more funds in TVET institutions to see more needy students enroll in the colleges and spur skills acquisition and self-reliance. Speaking in Kobura Ward, Kisumu County, while facilitating over 50 needy students to join TVET colleges, Area MCA Bill Odhiambo said TVET institutions offer a chance to students who cannot pursue higher learning in universities and provide them with essential skills that are needed for self-sustenance in the current job market. He also appealed to youth to take advantage of the courses offered at various institutions to acquire technical skills so as to uplift their livelihoods and communities that they come from.
Hii ni program ambayo tumekuwa tukifanya kwa muda sasa tangu tuingie ofisini, kwa sababu tuligundua wanafunzi wetu wengi tukiwapeleka katika hizi program za TVET wanarudi na wanasaidia eneo letu la Kobura, na kwa sasa tushapeleka watu 1100. Huu tunapeleka watu 50, na bado tunaendelea na hii program kwa sababu idea yenye tuko nayo tunataka at least, kwa sababu unaangalia wakati huu sio kila mtu lazima awe daktari, sio kila mtu lazima awe awe wakili. By the moment wameenda TVET na wamekuja na certificate zao, sasa wanaweza hata anza biashara zao wenyewe. Ukiangalia TVET, hata mtu ambaye hajamaliza hata darasa la 8, TVET iko na nafasi yake. Yule ambaye amemaliza form 4, TVET iko na nafasi yake, kwa sababu tuliingia tukapata watu wengi hawakuwa wameenda TVET. So mpaka sasa tunaweza sema tukiunganisha na hawa wenye wameenda kwa TVET sasa watakuwa 1150.
School, learn when you still have time, and when TVET education is free. I take this opportunity to thank Honorable Billy Tien Ubiambo from giving us this opportunity to go and study at Mawego. We urge him to support other students also for this kind of opportunity. Thank you.
Now, preparations for Madaraka Day ceremony are about to conclude. The Interior Principal Secretary Raymond Omolo says the preparations are at 90%, citing that the biggest part of the preparations has been finalized. While speaking in Bungoma after inspecting the Masinde Muliro Stadium, where the ceremony will be held, Omolo said the work which has been done is commendable, as he affirmed the remaining works on infrastructure will be completed in due course. Now, he said that the National Youth Service manpower has been deployed to beef up the workforce at the stadium so that all is put in order for the national celebrations which are to be held on 1st of June 2024.
We have gone round. A lot of work is happening in all the venues that we are interested on, and we believe by the time we get to the celebrations, we'll be ready. In case of anything else, the PS is here to keep us updated.
Tumeshukuru kwa kufika hapa leo. Vile mmesikia mwenzangu akisema, tumekuja kuangalia mradi huu ambao tunaandaa wakati wa sherehe inayokuja ya tarehe 1 mwezi wa 6. Tumeangalia vile stadium inaendelea na tunaridhika kwamba kazi inaendelea, na kwetu ni kumunga tu mkono mwenzetu kutoka serikali ya kati, katibu mwenzetu, kuhakikisha kwamba tuko tayari na kwamba tutakuwa na sherehe na tamati za kufurahia.
Yes, we definitely are adding more workforce. You must have noticed that our servicemen from the National Youth Service already came in 2 days ago, and part of the review of the progress of works that we have just done this morning is to increase the workforce, particularly from our friends from the National Youth Service, so that then we hasten whatever is outstanding.
Now, the Kilifi County Governor Gideon Mung'aro launched 500,000 cashew nuts seedlings, which will benefit over 12,500 farmers in Kilifi North constituency. The farmers drawn from 5 wards will get the seedlings free of charge after 2 non-governmental organizations come together to mitigate climate change and fight poverty through cashew nut trees. While addressing the farmers in Dabaso ward, the governor says the collapsing of cashew nuts plant in Kilifi was the reason why farmers had to cut down the trees, because they lack market for their produce. Now, Mung'aro says they have written to the president to allow the county to buy plant and hand it back to the farmers.
Mtambo wa korosho wa Kilifi ilipouzwa ndio mkorosho ulianza kusambaratika hapa Kilifi. Kama kuna na Kongo. Wakati rais alikuwa Moi, mtambo wa korosho wa Kilifi ambao ulikuwa wa wakulima wa Kilifi uliuzwa na mlango wa nyuma. Na hiyo ndio ilifanya wakulima wa korosho wakavunjika moyo, wakaacha kupanda mikorosho, wakaacha kuilimia kwa sababu waliona mali yao imenyang'anywa. Mtambo wa Kilifi ulikuwa wakulima wa Kilifi. Walikuwa mpaka na hoteli inaitwa Sindbad Hotel. Pia ikauzwa na serikali kwa mlango wa nyuma. Hii ndio iliharibu ukulima hapa Kilifi wa korosho. Kwa hivyo nataka kusema kwamba sasa tuko tayari mpande korosho, na vile tayari juzi niliandika barua kwa rais mambo ya mkorosho, na tumeshirikiana na mbunge wa Kilifi North Owen Baya kwamba hiyo barua ifikishe kwa rais yeye mwenyewe na mkono. Tutaununua tena mtambo wa korosho wa Kilifi urudi kwa wakulima wa Kilifi. Sababu watu wamekata mikanju, haoni faida yake. Ndio maana tunaanzisha huu mradi mpya wa korosho ambao korosho yake inazaa kwa miaka 2.5. Miaka 2 mpaka 2.5 mikorosho mitite itakuwa inazaa. Na hiyo ndio nataka tuwasaidie wakulima, na nashukuru sana wale washirika wetu ambao wametusaidia kwa hii kazi.
Tunataka kurudisha miradi ile ambayo ilikuwa imeshikilia misingi ndani ya Kilifi, ikiwa ni mnazi, na siku hii leo tukiangazia mambo ya korosho. Tunasema ni asante, hata tukijua ya kwamba kuna wanamiche zaidi ya 500,000 na tutashikana. Nikisema asante pia ile takwimu za kwamba tunajua tuna wakulima wangapi.
Now to some business news. Safaricom PLC recorded 139.9 billion shillings in earnings before interest and tax in the period ending March 31st, 2024, in financials released on Thursday. Now, the 2023-24 results showed Safaricom Group, which incorporates Safaricom Ethiopia, posted a 3.5% year-on-year growth to close to an EBIT of 94.9 billion shillings. The regional telecom giant said its earnings surpassed market expectations, and the group guidance range of 129 billion and 132 billion. Safaricom's revenue grew 13.4% to 335.3 billion shillings in the review period, with M-Pesa contributing 42.4% of revenue at 140 billion shillings, while the GSM business contributed 52.7% at 173.9 billion.
Our Kenya operation is now a $1 billion business. And this is not a top line. It's a $1 billion business in earnings before interest, taxes. So what we call earning before interest and taxes, which is EBIT, which has hit 140 billion Kenya shillings, which is a 20% growth year on year. I think we should clap again. So we are now billionaires, yeah? In dollars, there I should have said the currency is important. So on a consolidated basis, so that's the Kenya business, on a consolidated basis, incorporating the startup costs in Safaricom Ethiopia, the group closed on an earnings before interest and taxes of 94.9 billion Kenya shillings, which is a 3.5% growth year on year. And I need to emphasize this. This is a remarkable growth after having registered a negative performance last year in F23, which is financial year 23, and having delivered a higher than
Now, the Kenya Under-17 national team junior starlets head coach Mildred Cheche is optimistic about her team's chances ahead of the crucial clash against Ethiopia in the 2024 Under-17 World Cup qualifiers. The team will undergo final preparations at the Abebe Bikila Stadium in Addis Ababa, gearing up for the high-stakes match on Friday afternoon. Cheche, who is leading a national football side for the first time, expressed confidence in the selected players, stating that they understand the magnitude of the task at hand.
Ni mechi ngumu kwa sababu timu zote mbili ziko na good talents, iko na good crop of players wenye wamekuwa wakicompete kwa international level, so itakuwa mechi ya kujitahidi sana kwa wasichana wetu na also pia kwa makocha wetu. Nafasi ya Kenya before tumekuwa tukifanya vizuri, so tuna hope pia kwa hii michuano tutafanya vizuri pia.
Right, so that is where we wrap it up tonight. We do wish all the best to the Under-17 Harambee Starlets on that World Cup qualifier match. And, you know, the nation is behind them. We hope that they can steer the nation to victory as they seek to qualify for the World Cup. My name is Cynthia Nanjala. See you tomorrow, same time, same place. Enjoy the rest of your viewing.